For years, we've been taking you to places like this and showing you the heartbreak. The children whose only mistake was being born poor. 27,000 died last night. But thousands more lived because of sponsors who made a difference in their lives and sometimes actually saved them. We know you thought about it, put it on a nice to-do list, but somehow never got around to it. Even though the phone's right there and the call's free. Maybe it kind of gets lost in how busy you are. Maybe you're just taking your time. But Breder and his friends don't have till the 12th of never. They need you today. And you're not busy right this moment, so why not now? It's not the 80 cents a day, is it? Sponsoring a child, clean water, healthy food, a doctor to see, finally a school to go to. It's the best thing that can happen to 3 quarters and a nickel. And it's not like you feel bad after you do it. You'll feel great about sponsoring a kid every day you get up. And you don't have to worry about Christian Children's Fund. 80 cents of every dollar that comes in goes right out to help these children. So why not now? So why not now? Know what I think it is? I think you just forgot the number. So here it is. Christian Children's Fund is one of America's oldest and most trusted child sponsorship charities. For over 60 years, we're how people like you get together with children who need someone like you. So, why not now? Call now. We'll send you a picture of a child who needs you.
You're watching NBC for New York. And now, Maurice Dubois, Darlene Rodriguez, Chris Cimino, and Otis Livingston. This is News Channel 4, Today in New York.
Sick at sea, a virus plagues passengers as their luxury liner pulls into port here in New York.
Ferry service saved. Thousands of commuters welcome a new way to cross the East River today. Good morning. Welcome to Today in New York. 4:59, September 2nd. Labor Day's over.
It's all over.
I'm Darlene Rodriguez.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Maurice Dubois. Time to get back at it, into the groove. And then we say hello to Audrey, who's in for Chris this morning. How you doing?
Good, very good. Can you believe it's September already?
No.
What happened in the summer?
It's all over.
Cold yesterday.
It was very chilly, raw, damp. It's going to be more of the same for today. Have those umbrellas handy as we all head back to work. We're having a wet commute out there so far this morning, and it's going to be that way throughout the day today. Cloudy skies in Central Park. Currently a cool 62 degrees right now. It's cool throughout the tri-state area. Most areas are in the low 60s. We have 61 in Newburgh this morning, and looking at Doppler 4000, we can see we are picking up some rain. Most of it is north of the city into the Hudson Valley, where we have seen some heavy rain come through parts of Orange County, now moving eastward. So it's going to be a wet afternoon, just like it was yesterday. Be prepared for a damp day ahead. Temperatures right now mostly in the 60s. Our warm spot is Atlantic City. They're south of the stationary front that we have coming through the area, and they're at 74 degrees this morning. So expect a wet week ahead. This rain isn't going to stop for some time, and we could see the possibility of some flooding as we head farther into the week, but clearing is on the way. It's coming at the end of the week, which is just in time for the weekend, and that's when we like our better weather. So I'll have all the details on the wet weather that we can expect throughout the week coming up in a few minutes.
Oh, boy. Thanks.
Aren't you glad you're back?
Oh, I'm so glad.
Okay.
I'm sure Maurice is glad he's back.
I'm even
too.
more thrilled. Let me tell you
Happy.
about it. Let's get right to it. Oh, gosh.
Oh, well.
I know.
Thanks,
Oh, well.
Audrey. All right, check the roads now, see if there's better news. I guess so at 5 a.m., right, Trish?
Oh, you guys, Maurice, first off, welcome back. And,
Thank you.
Yes, but we've got problems to begin this Tuesday morning start. Unfortunately, major problems in Queens. We'll go to the maps first and let you know. Unfortunately, bad news. Southbound side of the Van Wyck, all lanes closed down right now. We'll go to the maps and show you where. Accident involving 2 jackknife tractor trailers. It's southbound right at Union Turnpike. Nasty accident. Again, 2 jackknife tractor trailers involved. You've got a fuel spill. Fire department crews, sanitation, hazmat crews. They are all out there. And we are down and out for the count on the southbound side of the Van Wyck. Traffic jam back to Jewel Avenue. Northbound side is passable, but a lot of rubbernecking delays. Now, we can show you a live shot of it, kind of a far shot from the Grand Central Parkway camera. You can see the flashing lights. Crews are still out there working on this. It happened at around 4:30 this this morning. But again, all lanes closed southbound side of the Van Wyck at Union Turnpike, so we'll definitely keep you posted there. Now here's a live look at the George Washington Bridge. Wet roads, some fog hanging around, so that's what you're going to be dealing with this morning. If you do have to be out and about, of course, you want to leave yourself a little bit of extra travel time. George Washington Bridge, though, traffic-wise, we are looking good. Holland and Lincoln Tunnel, no problems for you. But again, the major problem this morning is the Van Wyck, and we'll keep you updated on that. Darlene and Maurice, back to you.
Okay, Trish, thanks. We begin with breaking news out of Iraq this morning. 2 huge explosions heard in central Baghdad. Al Jazeera television is reporting that bombs were set off near a police station, and as many as 10 people are hurt. The report says the explosions were in a park near the police station, and the building itself wasn't seriously damaged. Right now, there is no official word yet from the U.S. military. Again, 2 explosions reported near a police station in central Baghdad. We'll have more information as it becomes available.
News around here now. The luxury liner pulling into New York Harbor this morning with a big problem. Hundreds of passengers on board are sick. Joe Avalar at Pier 92 right now on the west side with the story. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Waiting for those people to arrive. Now, can you imagine? This could be a cruise of a lifetime. Probably was for hundreds of people on board this ship. The ship being the Regal Princess left Copenhagen, and then about 2 days out to sea, people began to get sick with something called a Norwalk virus. What does it do? Well, on the sea, it makes your life absolutely miserable. We're talking about vomiting and diarrhea, stomach cramps, fever. Hundreds of people now have this virus on the ship, and they're now waiting. They're up at the Verrazano Bridge being met by the Coast Guard, and then they'll be coming here to this pier behind me in the next 1 to 3 hours, probably the longest 1 to 3 hours of their lives before they can finally get back on dry land. This is a picture of the germ that may be infecting hundreds of people aboard the Regal Princess cruise ship. It's a strain of Norwalk virus, also called norovirus, which causes 2 days of diarrhea and vomiting, and it's highly contagious. There are 2,000 people aboard the Regal Princess. More than 320 of them may have the virus. A similar virus struck the Regal Princess cruise ship back in 1998. That's when these pictures were taken. At that time, 115 passengers became sick with a stomach flu. Now, according to a passenger's email to the New York Times, many passengers and crew have been quarantined, while remaining healthy crew are disinfecting like crazy. The ship left Copenhagen August 18th. It made stops along the British and Irish coasts. Passengers reportedly began getting sick on the second day of the cruise, and the illness spread quickly as the ship crossed the Atlantic, so the cruise was cut short, skipping Newfoundland and headed to New York. And as I said, that ship should be arriving here just in the next few hours. The bad news for these people on board is there's absolutely no treatment for a Norwalk-like virus. Time is all they get. As for the ship, well, it can be disinfected, and they expect to do a lot of disinfecting with heavy bleach, because on Thursday, the ship will be leaving again for a cruise to the Northeast and Canada. How about that? Back to you.
Joe, thank you. Also today, changes for ferry passengers. The news is good if you cross the East River, not so good for some who cross the Hudson. Ida Siegel in Hunters Point has the story. Ida, good morning.
Good morning, Darlene. Well, originally the fear for commuters here in Queens was that their ferry service would be eliminated altogether because New York Waterway ferries were pulling out. But another competing company is pulling in. It's called New York Water Taxi. And today, for the very first time, Queens commuters will be able to take the new ferries. If you cross the water via ferry to work in the morning, chances are you'll want to listen to these changes. First, we'll start in Queens. Commuters who rely on New York Waterway to take them from Hunters Point, Queens to various Manhattan locations feared they'd lose their ferry service altogether because New York Waterway pulled out. But another competing ferry company has decided to step in and take over, called New York Water Taxi. New York Waterway has reportedly said it is unable to make a profit on the route. Now, New York Water Taxi believes it can profit with smaller boats to serve the 800 people who use the ferries to get to work. The water taxis run about every half hour and cost about $5 a ride, depending on when and where you're going. Now over to New Jersey. New York Waterway will still continue to serve customers who take their ferries into the city from various locations, but there are price changes. The folks who use the monthly 10-trip passes will see a 13% increase. The new prices vary again depending on which Jersey location you're coming from and when. The company says it's experiencing an unprecedented increase in operating costs, including fuel and insurance, and it's added new ferries and buses while expanding service, all contributing, they say, to the need for a fare hike. Now, chances are here in Queens that New York Waterway ferry sign will be removed because, again, New York Water Taxi is taking over, and the first ferries will leave dock this morning at about 6 in the morning. Today is the first day. As far as the fare hikes in New Jersey, well, that took effect yesterday, but of course, today is the first day that commuters will probably feel that pinch. We're live from the Hunters Point Ferry Terminal in Queens. Ida Siegel, Today in New York.
Ida, thank you. Another big story to tell you about this morning. Police in Brooklyn are hunting for a deadly shooter, just one of two criminals now, who turned a joyous Brooklyn parade into an afternoon of violence. Police say Anthony Bartholomew of Brooklyn was shot in the head as he tried to climb onto a float at the West Indian American Day Parade. Gang warfare may have been involved, police say. Bartholomew died early this morning at the hospital. The shooting sent spectators scrambling for cover while the gunman remains at large. Also along the parade route, another man was stabbed. He is now listed as stable. A suspect has been arrested. The violence briefly stopped the parade in its tracks, but that didn't take away from the brilliant spectacle along Eastern Parkway. Ironically, though, yesterday's celebration was dedicated to the late City Council member James Davis of Brooklyn, who was shot to death in City Hall in July.
You may see a parade on wheels of firefighters today calling for the reopening of 6 fire companies. The firefighters' caravan should take them to Engine Company 36 in Harlem, as well as 2 others in Cobble Hill, Brooklyn, and Long Island City, Queens. Firefighters tell Newsday that response times in those areas are dramatically longer now that the firehouses are closed. The city says firefighters' unions are distorting the numbers.
Also in the city today, First Lady Laura Bush will be here to promote a program to help educate teachers. A former educator herself, Mrs. Bush will visit Mercy College in Manhattan, and that's where they've initiated a program called Teaching for Results. It's an intensive 2-year curriculum aimed at getting new teachers their master's degrees and teaching certification.
An audio tape said to be the voice of Saddam Hussein denies he had any involvement in last week's car bombing at a mosque. A portion of the new tape aired yesterday on the Arab television network Al Jazeera. Friday's mosque attack killed more than 120 people in the Iraqi city of Najaf. Among the dead, a top Shiite cleric who had returned to Iraq after the fall of Saddam's regime. The voice on tape said Saddam was the leader of all Iraqi people, suggesting he would not launch an attack on any particular ethnic or religious group. Meanwhile, 2 more U.S. soldiers were killed today after the military convoy they were traveling in was bombed in southern Baghdad. 1 other soldier was also injured in the attack.
Israel has launched another attack against Palestinian militants, killing a Hamas member. Yesterday's missile strike on a Gaza City street left a car in flames. 2 other Hamas militants were in that vehicle. 1 man was wounded while the other did escape, and more than 24 bystanders were hurt as well. It was the 6th Israeli strike against Palestinians since the suicide bus bombing in Jerusalem 2 weeks ago that killed 21 people.
Police in Connecticut arrest activist Jesse Jackson. Coming up, why a crowd of people cheered as he broke the law.
Also ahead, tough times for teenage drivers. How getting a license in New York just got tougher, and the weather isn't too easy either, Audrey.
No, it isn't, Maurice. We have a wet and damp start to the week. Looks like we'll have cool weather this morning, especially out of PS 63, where the current temperature's at 61 degrees. Out in Ozone Park, 96% humidity, and the winds are coming out of the northeast at 5. That northeast wind's going to keep things cool and damp. I'll have your wet forecast coming up.
The Lincoln Mercury anniversary clearance ends soon. It's your last chance for 0% on Sable LS Premium with no charge leather seating, no charge moonroof, and no charge ABS. A $2,490 value. Or get 0% APR on Mercury Grand Marquis with the government's highest 5-star safety rating, named most dependable full-size car. Now get 0% APR for 5 years or $4,000 cash back, including $500 AARP bonus. The Lincoln Mercury anniversary clearance. When it's gone, it's gone.
In the summertime when the weather is
delicious new Dan and Light and Fit smoothie goes with you, not on you. 0% fat, 80 calories. Drink Light and Fit. Be Light and Fit. Oh.
Don't say no bad words, cause you ain't no puppet shout. Always use good manners when you're eating a sloppy jow. Yeah, go on and on and on and on. Peace!
Mr. Jiggyfly, I have good news.
You enjoyed it then?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Why would anybody in their right mind pay $339 for this twin set when yours is only $199? It's ridiculous.
Mine is warranted for 10 years. No ifs, ands, or buts.
So why would anybody buy theirs when they can buy yours and save $140?
After years of analyzing, refining, and perfecting, Lexus engineers had to face the most difficult challenge of all: letting go. Introducing the new, more powerful ES330.
Reverend Jesse Jackson faces disorderly conduct charges after his arrest during a Labor Day protest with striking Yale University workers. Jackson sat down in an intersection on the New Haven campus. That's when police arrested him and 13 other demonstrators. A crowd of supporters cheered Jackson, who had just completed a march with more than 1,000 people. The union representing the technical, clerical, and maintenance workers expects to return to the bargaining table with the university tomorrow.
Researchers say they've come up with a potentially groundbreaking new vaccine, a 1-2 punch to fight anthrax, they're telling us. The experimental drug is designed to fight both the anthrax germ and the toxins it makes. Current product only targets the deadly toxin. So far, the vaccine's been successful in mice exposed to anthrax spores, and if it's proven safe in humans, the vaccine may one day be useful in treating people already infected with the disease. The research appears in today's Annals of Internal Medicine.
It's been a beach bummer of a summer, probably even worse than you think. Just like yesterday's damp and dismal weather, there have been 48 days of rain this summer. 15 precious weekends had rain. At Jones Beach, attendance was off 15%. 1 million people fewer than usual. Many businesses lost money, like restaurants, butcher shops, and antique dealers.
It's impossible to recoup because the business just goes away, and people don't buy more because it's a nicer day.
It's just a struggle. We're seasonal down here, and we really need sunshine, in order to make it happen.
And the soggy season is history at city beaches and 54 public pools. Two like the Astor Levy pool on the east side. 12 million people visited city pools and city beaches this year with no drownings.
And just like that, it's time to go back to work, go back to school.
Yeah, and yesterday was definitely not a day for beaches or pools.
No, nothing.
A wet Labor Day. We've had a lot of those over the last few years. Yeah, and it looks like we're going to get a lot more wet weather as we go farther into the week. As you head back to work this morning, grab that umbrella. You're going to be needing it on and off throughout the day today. Let's look outside right now. Wet roadways already this morning, so be aware of that and allow yourself for some extra time on your commute this morning. Currently, we do have a temperature of about 62 degrees, and we have cloudy skies in Central Park. The winds right now are at a northeast at about 9 miles per hour. The air is saturated, so our humidity is at 100%, and the barometer is falling at 30.06 inches. It's a cool, damp morning throughout the tri-state area. We have 61 in Islip. Montauk is checking in with 62 degrees, and those are the numbers throughout most of the immediate area. Down towards our south, where they're south of a stationary front that's right over the area, temperatures are a little bit warmer, like in Atlantic City, where they're currently at 74 degrees this morning. Well, we are picking up a lot of wet weather throughout the area around Doppler 4000 this morning. Most of it has been north of the city into the Hudson Valley, where we have seen some patches of heavy rain come through Sullivan and Orange County earlier this morning. We can still see some periods of or spots of heavy rain right around Newburgh, heading over towards West Point now, up towards New Paltz and Poughkeepsie. And this is all moving slowly towards the east, so areas around Putnam and Westchester County, the rain will increase in intensity over the next couple of hours. We're still relatively dry across Long Island, except for the Twin Forks, and we're picking up a few light showers here in the 5 boroughs. Now, looking at the larger satellite and radar spectrum, we can see we do have a large plume of moisture coming in from the east. It's been moving through the entire state, or most of the state, except for the extreme northern part of it, and providing some heavy rain across northeast Pennsylvania, heading into the Hudson Valley. You can see we're still going to be inundated with a lot of moisture over the next couple of hours, so definitely have the umbrella handy. We're off to a wet Tuesday on this day. But looking at our station stationary front. It's off towards actually it's north of central New Jersey, but just south of the city. This is along it where we're going to see some impulses rotate, and that's where we're going to catch some showers and some periods of heavy rain on and off throughout the day today. So the story is the same as yesterday. Have that umbrella handy. It's going to be a wet day ahead. Let's take a look at the forecast in detail. High temperature, relatively cool for this time of year. We'll have a high of only 70 degrees. And then for tonight, the showers will be on and off. We'll have some fog developing, and our lows will be back into the 60s to the upper 50s. And of course, on Wednesday, looking at the next 5 days, we'll start off a little bit dry, but it will be cloudy and cool. Showers rolling in by the afternoon. Rain again, heavy at times on Thursday. Friday morning, a lingering shower will finally clear out Friday afternoon into the evening, and the weekend looking pretty good. We'll see sunshine on Saturday with a high of 77 degrees. So a wet couple of days ahead. And coming up, I'm going to give you an update on Hurricane Fabian, which is still out in the Atlantic and could affect our area. I'll tell you how coming up a little bit later.
It's like the wettest summer of all time, the grayest of ever.
Not really.
No?
Coming up, I also have something to tell you about our rainfall over the summer, over the last 3 months. We've been above normal and below normal, believe it or not. Yeah,
little history lesson.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later too.
Thanks, Tree. Well, weather permitting, there will be more spraying to prevent the spread of West Nile virus tonight in New York City. The Dyker Heights and a small part of Bay Ridge section of Brooklyn will be sprayed between 8 p.m. tonight and 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, as will the Whitestone and Clearview Park areas of Queens. Spraying is also scheduled for Crotona Park and Crotona Park East in the Bronx. So far, there have been 3 human cases of West Nile virus in the city this year.
There are some new restrictions for teenage drivers in the state of New York now in effect. Drivers under 18 must now hold a learner's permit for 6 months before taking the test for a junior license. And with that junior license, young drivers are limited to just 2 passengers under age 21 unless a guardian is present. State officials say teen drivers are 4 times more likely to be involved in accidents than all other age groups combined.
A new car is on the market in Japan that can park itself without the driver even touching the steering wheel. Toyota's new hybrid gasoline-electric Prius sedan uses a rear-mounted camera and a computer program to consistently make a perfect reverse park. No word yet on when we can see this model here in the U.S., but rivals General Motors and Ford will launch their first hybrids later this year. I need this car.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know anybody who does?
I know plenty of people. Me first. I need this car. Park itself.
Rear bumper all chewed up and
a little bit,
just a couple dings and scratches. All righty, we'll see how that works, hopefully.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Checking with Trish, see what's happening.
We need one that does parallel parking.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
That's what this does.
That's exactly what it does.
It just doesn't reverse. It does parallel, the whole thing.
Parallel.
Everything.
The whole
All
thing.
right. We like that.
Yeah, we like that.
A lot. Hey, guys, we're dealing with major problems this morning in Queens. We'll go to the maps to let you know that a major roadway closure this morning is what's in store for your Tuesday morning start. It's the Van Wyck southbound side. All lanes are shut down right at Union Turnpike. We've got 2 jackknife tractor trailers involved with this accident. A big mess. There's a fuel spill involved. Traffic jam back to Jewel Avenue. Now, northbound side, all lanes are passable, but lots of rubbernecking delays to deal with. So Van Wyck just not looking good right now. The Cross Island Parkway, Clearview, of course, those are alternates for you. But again, southbound Van Wyck, all lanes closed at Union Turnpike. Now, elsewhere, we're doing okay. Panasonic Skycam. Here's a look at the Tappan Zee Bridge, and so far quiet this morning down out of Rockland into Westchester County. Not so bad. The Belt Parkway right around Pennsylvania Avenue. Next, we'll take a look at that. And so far, doing all right this morning. But again, some wet roads, poor visibility in areas, so you do want to be careful. We also want to mention one note on the Belt Parkway westbound, right around Springfield Boulevard. Crews are working on an accident, so a little bit of a slowdown there. But finally, the Gowanus, the BQE, they're all in good shape. East River, Hudson River crossing so far quiet. But again, you want to leave yourself a little bit of extra travel time this morning. Maurice and Darlene, back to you.
Thanks, Trish.
Okay.
Well, summer draws to a close, so too does summer intern season. For many young people, it was a chance to learn about something brand new.
But for others, like the young man we're about to meet, it was a chance to put a unique talent into practice. Vivian Lee has more.
This is not an intensive language practice session for 17-year-old Brandon Patton. Originally from Watermill, Long Island, and raised in Hong Kong because his father's business operated there, Mandarin is Brandon's second tongue. But here at Sino TV in Midtown Manhattan, where he's interning, it's his first.
I grew up in Hong Kong. I went to an international school my whole life. My parents thought it'd be best if I started learning at an early age.
Brandon not only speaks Mandarin, he knows 5,000 characters, enough to read a Chinese language newspaper and more than enough to translate and transcribe between English and Chinese.
Even my coworker told me, you know what? Brandon's Mandarin is better than yours. That's our news director told me.
Program producer Jojo Zhou hired Brandon after reading an article he wrote in Chinese. She successfully lobbied to create the intern position just for Brandon. Sino TV never had a non-Chinese intern before.
Because I'm the only native English speaker here at the company, that the relations with the other businesses that they work with and just maybe a little bit stronger just because I've helped out with that.
Navigating effortlessly and almost without an accent between the two languages raises some eyebrows, not at his workplace, but among non-Chinese.
I think Mandarin is a really beautiful language to hear on my ears and stuff like that. But I think for American people, they're going to hear it, they think, oh, that's really funny. That's really funny. So I don't want them to hear me just make a bunch of sounds and them kind of giggle under their breath. That's really weird language.
Translating programs for closed captioning and reaching out to English language companies for Sino TV's public relations, Brandon thanks his parents for his most valued skill, and he hopes to parlay it into a career.
Vivian Lee, Today in New York.
Man, how cool is that, huh?
Wow, I'm sure he'll have no problem being
No
very
sweat.
successful.
While the rest of us are working on English.
I'm telling you.
I think I can.
Yeah.
All right, coming up on 5:23, we're going to take a break. Ever dream you could fly? So do these guys, and they'll keep on dreaming. Why put yourself through all this punishment? There's a good reason, and we will share it with you coming up.
Also, the bride, the groom, and the garbage. Why this couple is saying their I do's at a dump when we come back. I'd like that.
Try a delicious breakfast sandwich on a freshly baked bagel from Dunkin' Donuts. It's just the thing you've been waiting for. Stop by Dunkin' Donuts and try our new delicious sourdough bagel sandwich and coffee value combo. Just the thing.
Your Dodge dealers are counting down the final days of the summer sales drive. It's your chance to get no extra charge lube, oil, and filter changes for up to 7 years. Plus, make zero down payment, 0 payments until 2004, and get 0% APR financing or cash allowances of up to $4,500. All with our 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. But get rolling because the final day's countdown ends September 2nd. See your Dodge dealer for the best values in America.
Now there's a better way to buy carpeting. Empire Carpet, America's largest shop-at-home carpet service. Instead of driving from store to store, call Empire. We'll bring carpet samples to you, then install your new carpet next day. And you get 50% off, so you'll save big on all our brand name carpet. Plus no payments till 2005. Shop-at-home service, 50% off, and next-day installation. Call Empire now. It's a better way to buy carpet. 800-588-2300 Today.
Coffee, please.
Make that 2. And can I have one of these?
Michelle?
Oh, please. I've been good all week.
Yeah, but aren't you on
Weight Watchers? Yeah. Pretty amazing, huh?
Weight Watchers introduces new Flex Points. The points let you lose. The Flex lets you live.
I could never have a cookie on my diet.
Maybe that's why you quit your diet.
New Flex Points. Start flexing, start losing. Join now while registration's free. Weight Watchers. Real food, real life, real results.
Good morning, 5:25 and 62 degrees. Chilly on this Tuesday morning. There's the Tappan Zee Bridge. Traffic already piling up so early. Mankind's quest for flight takes on a whole new high, or maybe low, at an annual competition in England. Dozens of contestants jump off a platform above the English Channel to compete for a $40,000 prize.
That hurt.
All they have to do is soar in flight for a little more than 300 feet. Easier said than done, as you can see. Even the 6-time champ who uses a hand glider was 64 feet short of the goal.
Was that a horse?
I don't know what.
Guy jumped a
Look at
horse
him.
into the water.
He almost made it. Whoa, up, up, up.
And away. Nice try, though.
Very nice. Would you do that?
Not necessarily.
Not for $40,000, right?
Not necessarily. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Leave the horse out of it. Poor thing.
Was that a horse?
Splat into the water. Yeah, did a belly flop.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
No.
That's what they do over in England. Hey, let's go to England right now and Louisa Boysen, see what's happening. Good morning.
Sure we do. Good morning to you. We have very mixed markets on this front of things, to say the least. They're all quite flat looking at the moment, as you can see right here. We have one company bucking the trend quite substantially. That's Vivendi Universal, the large media company. And today, as soon as today, we could be expected to hear who will be buying off Vivendi Universal entertainment assets. These are the U.S. assets that include Vivendi Universal Studios. It's thought that NBC is in the front runner and could potentially be the winner in this bid for these entertainment assets. Other than that, in the newspaper today, there's an article on David Blaine. He's the U.S. illusionist or magician. He's to be suspended above the Thames for 44 days with only water, a poncho, and a couple of diapers or nappies, as you may say. This is to happen on Friday. He was briefing the press on this yesterday and actually managed to slice off his ear, quote unquote. It's not his real ear, but there's a very gory picture of his sliced off ear, which obviously seems to be fake then, but it still sent shivers through all the presser that were there to cover the actual press conference. And yeah, it looks like David Blaine with no ear will be suspended on Friday.
A little bizarre. Okay. Thank you, Louisa. And by the way, we should tell the folks that that horse was a model, right? It wasn't the real thing.
It wasn't a real thing.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
The Wright brothers, they're not.
No.
It's a nice try.
Be right, as you said. The
Right.
poor fake. But it was fake.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Meantime, there's a couple in Maine that's talking trash on their wedding day. Take a look at this. They had a good reason for it, though. Dave Hart and Rocky Graham got married at their town dump. And if you think all the reception halls happen to be booked, you're wrong. It turns out the couple worked and met at this facility. All 344 people who live in the town were invited. They were told to forget about the gifts and bring returnable bottles instead for the honeymoon fund. So it was all about getting married at the workplace.
The workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Happens to be a dump.
It is what it is.
Can you eat the wedding cake in that environment?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hold your nose.
I don't know. All right, today's top stories are coming up next, including this.
I'm Joe Avalar. How about a cruise to illness? More than 300 people will be getting off the Regal Princess when it docks here in a few hours. Sick. I'll tell you how and why. Stick around.
And this one's for ferry commuters. There's some good news and some not so good news. I'm Ida Siegel, and I'll have everything you need to know coming up.
Also coming up this morning, maternity wear with a sense of style. How moms-to-be can look their best when we come back.